Hello and welcome to the video series Decoding Dance, where I give a different viewpoint on commonly used phrases to describe teaching ideas and things that you're trying to do when you're dancing. In this video, I will be talking about walking out like you own the floor. So that can be slightly problematic if you haven't figured out how to walk onto a dance floor and/or if you haven't walked in between dances. So walking onto a floor like you have an ownership over something is a bit of a problematic idea if you haven't quite figured out what that means to you and how do you do it. I'm going to get into a little bit more detail about how you can accomplish this within your dancing. So how do we walk out onto a dance floor as though we own the space? Well, oftentimes that can come across as something that can be arrogant or overdone. So we will overcompensate because I have to show that I have ownership over something. Now, the difference between overdoing something and doing enough that I have an ownership over the space that I inhabit or where I'm going to be can make a drastic difference in how that it comes across towards the audience or the judges. So when we walk out as if we don't belong there, as if we don't have something to say or shouldn't be out there, that can come across negatively as well. So getting that range of just right can seem a little bit intimidating at first. I'm going to demonstrate, first of all, walking the three different ways I described. A little bit timid, like I don't belong. Number two is going to be overdone, like I really own the space. I'm a little bit arrogant. And number three, the quiet confidence is what we're really after, that I own this space that I'm in, and I'm confident that no matter what happens, this is my space to be in. And therefore, the rest of the floor is something that I can comfortably inhabit. So without further ado, I'm going to start walking in the timid manner. So if I walk in a timid manner, this is going to look something like this. I'll do that again. Now I'm going to go for the arrogant walk. I'll do that one more time. Now I'm going to contrast that with the quiet confidence of just knowing that the space I'm inhabiting is mine. I'll do that one again. Hopefully you could see the difference between all three versions. When I was walking in the timid way, so to speak, I didn't have a clear space where I was walking to. I didn't have a clear cadence, and I certainly didn't maintain a dynamic alignment or posture as I was walking towards that point. When I was being overconfident, I exaggerated certain actions and I put on the show, as it were, to make it look like I am the best ever. And that was going through my head. Now, I can maybe think that, nothing wrong with thinking that, but you're just going to have to prove that's true if you want to tell people that. And if you know that on a deep level that you are good, has nothing to do with the best ever or comparison with anybody else. It's knowing what you're going to do. And it's having a clarity of intention about, how do I walk? I want to feel the floor underneath my feet. I want to feel my weight into the floor. So the way we can do this is I can shift the pelvis, so I'm stacking it on top of the leg bone, and I feel the weight going down into the ground. And if I can keep that feeling of being grounded on one foot, I can shift my weight and keep the feeling of being grounded on the other foot. And now I feel the energy going up again through my body. As I take my hand, I'm holding that energy in my body as I'm beginning to walk. Now, this isn't the same energy I would use for performance. I don't need that much. But to keep the ownership, I have that confidence of keeping the weight into my foot and I can walk forward. So if I walk towards the camera with that, I'm going to feel the weight down in the foot, feel the grounding, and feel how that can help propel me forward with my partner on my hand and walk forward. I feel the grounding through the feet. I feel the energy coming up through the body, and I have a clear place that I'm walking towards. I'm going to demonstrate that one more time. Grounding through the feet, energy up through the body. And so walking like I own the floor has as much to do with what I'm doing to myself as to anybody or else or anything else going on around me. I'm not trying to impress anybody else on the outside. I'm not thinking about them at all, as a matter of fact. I'm keeping a very clear idea about what am I doing. I have an awareness of what my partner is doing, and I'm walking with a clear intention about where I'm going, the space I'm going to, and that's going to include when I walk on the floor for the beginning of a competition and where I walk in between dances. Now, if I'm walking from the follower perspective, I would walk exactly the same. I might take slightly faster cadence to that, but I would continue walking the exact same way. So just because I have my right or my left hand free, I would still keep that grounding. I would still keep the energy through the body, and I would walk perhaps a little bit faster with an awareness of where I'm going. Wherever I'm going, wherever I'm being led to go, that's where I'm going to walk to. And that lead is going to come through my left hand. So as I'm walking, I will follow that lead around, wherever that happens to be, but I'm having a clear space. Now, a lot of times there can be an overdone action on both parties, and it really doesn't matter who it is that's doing the walking and creating that ownership. So an exaggerated walk with ownership can have that hands going out. Maybe I'm walking around and I'm staring at everybody, showing off as it were. The quiet confidence of knowing where your body is, knowing where your weight is, and knowing where your energy is will always come across better to most of the people. Of course, some people will like the other, but keep in mind that when we're doing anything that's performative, you make a choice, and those choices are going to have an effect. So how you walk on the floor can make an impact on how people perceive you before you've taken a step. If I walk with the look of no confidence, that's going to be the collapsed posture, the lack of energy within, and the lack of clarity of space. That gives a clear message. After all, we are very visual creatures, and what we see has an impact on what we think. With those things in mind, enjoy practicing owning the floor.